When our very first conversation was over, I wrote the words pain in the ass next to Karen's name on the back of an envelope. I preferred to put a line through a name if I saw no potential with a woman, rather than have to delete it from my phone. Envelopes were disposable, easily forgotten. There was also no chance of butt dialing a number off an envelope and having to explain to some teacher you'd once spoken to for 5 minutes that you weren't stalking her. 6 months before messaging Karen, I had subscribed to the dating site on which I found her profile in the hope of ending a 2-year celibacy streak. My anxiety attacks and OCD had turned me into a hermit in a city of millions, and the time had come for fornication to supplant hibernation. I considered prostitution, but the logistics didn't work for me. Would she come to my apartment, or would I meet her in some cheap motel and bring home bedbugs? What about the threat of disease, or the possibility that she might have once been a man?
Hey there, cutie.
The psychological torture inflicted by the little prick, the name I gave the voice in my head that made me worry all the time. Just for the bigger prick between my legs to indulge in a few moments of pleasure with what I can only hope was a disease-free call girl was too much. Once I made the decision to meet a woman who had neither a pimp nor aftermarket parts, I secured a prescription for Klonopin from my doctor. The small yet miraculous pill had the effect of suppressing the physical symptoms of my anxiety. Without the dizziness, the sweating, the shaking, and the intestinal angst I so often felt for no reason. He was powerless. I was free to date, fornicate, live. With each of my jokes that the women I met laughed at, with each coquettish gaze, my confidence grew. And I began to relish any opportunity to stifle the little prick, so that his big brother, the prick that really mattered, could come out of his forced retirement. Now that the evil Hyde was being squashed, my Jekyll, or miraculously, my Schmeckle, was being unleashed throughout the New York metro area. I listened to women complain about the woefully neurotic men they were fishing out of a New York City dating pool. There was the man who was a vice president at some bank, but he said it was only fair to split the check because
there's a recession out there.
There was the man who was like 45, but wanted a woman with huge tits so there'd be enough to suck on
for him and the babies he wanted to have.
There were the men who would text pictures of their genitals in lieu of an introductory phone call. And then there was me. The one described by different women as
so cool, and so normal.
At first, I felt guilty, like an imposter. These women didn't know the real me. The real me made the tit suckers and cock texters seem just a little strange. Without the aid of that little benzodiazepine that was kryptonite to the little prick, I imagined what these women would be saying about me to each other, let alone to their potential dates, resulting in a digital record of my neuroses drifting through cyberspace for all eternity.
Ew.
I lay in the bed of an accountant listening to her pee, and I had a post-coital epiphany. We were all imposters trying to hide our true identities. And if we were all so fundamentally fucked up, what was wrong with concealing these flaws under smiley-faced masks? She wasn't even trying to hide her masks, so why should I worry that she'd know I was wearing one too? But she was inextricably attached to her Israeli ex-boyfriend, Yuda, she explained, after I asked to see her again. And it wasn't fair to me, or to her, or to Yuda, even though he was supposedly a jerk if we continued seeing each other. The blow of being rejected was softened somewhat by the vision of a wrinkled Jedi master replacing me in her bed. But I was also horrified by what she had exposed about me. I was way more screwed up than a functioning addict with an unhealthy attachment to some jerk. She was at least passionate about someone, in love even. I had no real interest in any of the women I'd been with, other than using them to prove to the little prick that he was no longer in charge. They were distractions. But little more. Each woman penetrated was supposed to push the stake deeper into the little prick's heart, but he was quietly gaining strength, letting me fool myself into believing I was winning for once. I wasn't an imposter. I was exactly who I'd always been, detached, lonely, and addicted to my heart pounding and directing blood flow away from my non-essential organs. I suddenly had an urge to feel a meaningful connection with a woman, to know what it meant to want to be with someone, even when they acted like a jerk. There seemed no better candidate than Karen for this experiment.
Hello?
Hola, Karen. Es Sammy. ¿Cómo estás?